Force yourself to be consistent. Tony Robbins, motivation. Let me ask you something. How many times have you felt a fire inside you, an idea, a dream, a vision so powerful it almost scared you, and then life happened? Doubt crept in, fear whispered, the world got loud, and that fire, it didn't die, but it dimmed. Now listen to me carefully. The difference between the life you dream about and the life you're living right now is not talent. It's not luck. It's not even opportunity. It is consistency. And today, I want to talk to you, not just about consistency, but about forcing yourself to become consistent. Not when it feels good, not when you're motivated, but especially when you're tired, emotional, overwhelmed, or misunderstood. Because let's be honest, especially for women, consistency isn't just about discipline. It's emotional, it's psychological, it's deeply personal. We live in a world that often misunderstands feminine energy, a world that tells women to be strong, but not too strong, to be emotional, but not too emotional, to be soft, but not weak, to be ambitious, but not intimidating. And in the middle of all these contradictions, many women lose something essential: their rhythm, their natural flow, their consistency. Because when you are constantly adjusting yourself to fit expectations, you start abandoning your own alignment. And here's the truth. Most people won't tell you. Consistency is not about being rigid. It's about being rooted. It's about being rooted in your truth. Rooted in your energy. Feminine energy is not weak. Let me say that again. Feminine energy is not weak. It is fluid, intuitive, nurturing, and deeply powerful. It's the energy that creates life, the energy that creates life, the energy that senses what words cannot explain. But because it is soft, people mistake it for fragile. Because it is emotional, people mistake it for unstable. Because it is quiet, people overlook its strength. And here's where the problem begins. When women start believing those misconceptions, when you start thinking your emotions are a burden instead of a compass, when you start suppressing your intuition instead of trusting it, when you start hiding your softness instead of owning it, you disconnect from your power. And once you disconnect from your power, consistency becomes difficult because you're no longer moving from alignment. You're moving from pressure. Let me tell you something powerful. Your emotions are not your enemy. They're your guidance system. But here's the key. You must learn to feel deeply without losing direction. That is where true strength lies. Because consistency does not mean you feel the same every day. It means you show up even when you don't, especially when you don't. There will be days when your energy is high, days when you feel unstoppable. And then there will be days when your heart feels heavy, when your mind is cluttered, when your confidence disappears without warning. And on those days, most people stop. But powerful women, they don't stop, they adjust. They slow down if needed, but they don't quit. They honor their emotions, but they don't let those emotions control their destiny. That is consistency. You see, society often celebrates loud power, dominance, aggression, control, but feminine power, it's different. It's quiet, it's patient, it's resilient in ways that don't always get applause. A woman can be breaking and still show up. A woman can be hurting and still give. A woman can be doubted and still believe. That is not weakness. That is silent power. And here's where I want to challenge you. What if the very thing you've been told to fix about yourself is actually your greatest strength, your sensitivity, your emotional depth, your ability to care deeply, your intuition? What if those are not distractions, but superpowers? Because let me tell you something, in a world full of noise, the person who can feel deeply sees clearly, but power without discipline is wasted potential. Let's be real. You can be intuitive, you can be talented, you can be full of dreams, but if you are not consistent, you will stay stuck in cycles, starting, stopping, starting again, doubting, restarting. And every time you break your own consistency, you break trust with yourself, and self-trust is everything. So how do you build consistency, not just physically, but emotionally, psychologically, spiritually? You force it, not with punishment, not with pressure, but with commitment, a decision, a standard. You decide, I will show up for myself. Even when I don't feel like it, I will keep going. Even when it's messy, I will stay consistent, not because it's easy, but because I am worth it. Consistency is not glamorous. It's not always exciting. It's often repetitive, quiet, unnoticed. But that's where transformation happens. Not in the moments of motivation, but in the moments of resistance. Let me give you a truth that might hit hard. You don't become confident and then consistent. You become consistent and then confident. Confidence is built through evidence, and every time you show up, you are proving something to yourself. I can do this. I don't quit. I follow through. Now let's talk about something deeper, the psychology of women. Women are wired to feel, to connect, to nurture, to analyze emotional environments. This is not a weakness, it's intelligence. But when this emotional intelligence is not managed, it can turn into overthinking, self-doubt, people-pleasing, self-doubt, people-pleasing, self-doubt, and emotional exhaustion. And when you're emotionally exhausted, consistency feels impossible. So here's what you must understand. You don't need less emotion, you need better emotional direction. Feel everything, but don't let everything control you. There's a difference between honoring your emotions and obeying them. And this is where most people get stuck. You wake up tired, so you skip, you feel insecure, so you hold back, you feel overwhelmed, so you quit. But what if instead you felt all of that and still moved forward? That is power. Let me tell you something you need to hear. You are allowed to be soft and still be unstoppable. You are allowed to cry and still be disciplined. You are allowed to cry and still be disciplined. You are allowed to feel deeply and still be consistent. These things do not cancel each other. They strengthen each other. Some of the strongest women in the world are not the loudest, they are not the most aggressive, they are the most consistent. The ones who keep going even when no one is watching, even when no one is clapping, even when no one believes in them, because they understand something most people don't. Consistency is self-respect in action. So I want you to ask yourself, where have you been inconsistent? Where have you been abandoning yourself? Where have you been waiting for motivation instead of creating discipline? Because your future is built on what you do repeatedly, not occasionally. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You just need to keep going. Messy consistency beats perfect inconsistency every single time. And let me remind you, there is a version of you that is watching you right now, a stronger version, a wiser version, a more powerful version. And she is not waiting for you to feel ready. She is waiting for you to become consistent. So start small, start simple, but start. Show up for yourself today, and then tomorrow, and then again, even when it's hard, even when it's emotional, even when it's uncomfortable, because every time you do, you are becoming her. You are not weak for feeling deeply. You are powerful for continuing anyway. So force yourself, not in a harsh way, but in a committed way. A loving discipline, a quiet promise, a powerful decision. I will not give up on myself. A powerful decision. I will not give up on myself. I will not disappear when things get hard. I will stay consistent because I deserve the life I dream about. And one day you will look back and realize it wasn't one big moment that changed your life. It was the small things, the daily choices, the quiet discipline, the consistency you forced yourself to build. And that is how you become unstoppable. So stand tall, own your energy, trust your depth, embrace your softness, and commit to your consistency, because you are not here to be average. You are not here to shrink. You are not here to live half a life. You are here to rise, to grow, to evolve, to become everything you were meant to be. And it starts right now with one decision, one action, one step. Be consistent, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because that is where your power lives.